Yeah, photography was not a real art. Photography was a science when it started because it wasn't. It was
and
too
it demeaned, and they thought it would devalue the painter.
It was too technological.
Yeah.
I mean, they thought of that about writing back in the day too. Did you know that?
Well, in radio and television. All of it.
Yeah, even
Same
radio.
thing.
When it went from radio to television wasn't real because it wasn't radio.
And some of the things that are coming through my mind, one, what business do I have being out in the middle of the desert all by myself, 500 yards away from my car in the pitch black with nothing but 2 beers in my pocket and my camera and a flashlight.
You know what? Because you're a photographer.
Yeah.
You're an idiot.
I'm an idiot. And 2, I hope this shot's worth it.
Yeah. What were we
where did you-
shooting?
We were shooting a pile of dirt in Long Beach.
All right,
That's
a fucking describes a lot of them.
That describes a lot of my shit. It's like, we
It's
got
mostly
a pile
starting out
of
with a
dirt.
pile of dirt.
Let's,
A big ass pile of dirt.
You'd
Pile
be
of
amazed
dirt.
at how many times you've gone up and photographed a
Pile of dirt. That's Matt. Matt's the pile of dirt photographer. We need to send Matt. Nobody else.
Inauguration day.
Inauguration day.
Yeah.
I wanted to go out on inauguration
But there was
day,
another one that was.
and I wanted to go out. All the days that I thought there'd be uprising, there wasn't.
Really?
Yeah. It was the...
Could you have guessed January 6th?
No, I never would
I would have never guessed it either.
There was a
That's
small
so-
I didn't
one.
even know that was a thing before.
Right.
I don't follow politics, but
Hell, I got yelled at for being Asian, so...
You got yelled at for being Asian?
Oh, yeah.
When?
I can't remember now. It was a month and a half, 2 months ago.
How did it happen?
I apologized already.
Nice.
It was right when it was on the news and everyone's talking about, Asian hate crimes or whatever. And the guy pulled up to me and just started motioning at me. And I glanced over and I was like, oh. And he just starts fucking yelling at me. And I couldn't believe it at first. But the thing that was weird and also funny was the face he made at me. He growled kind of like a rabid dog, like foaming at the mouth.
Really?
And it would have been comical, except for the hate that he had in his eyes. And I was like, whoa.
The best explanation for our government that I've ever heard was, you ever played Monopoly?
Once or twice.
Yeah. So
I hate the game.
Oh, me too. I haven't played it in so long. So, Monopoly is a pretty basic, to the point representation of capitalism because, you go through this board and then you get money after a certain time, and you get to buy the properties if you have enough money, right? The problem is that the game started way back when.
Mm-hmm.
So the game hasn't stopped. The people that
excellent,
actually went through the whole thing and bought all the places and placed all the houses and the apartments and all that, now we're going through it.
Mm-hmm.
And we got none of all that experience, all that those years of all these generations. And what I would say the major issue is because a lot of that highly earned money is just being handed down from generation to generation.
So you're saying the game of Monopoly transfers into the game of like real life real estate, how the ones that have it have all the property, bought all the hotels.
They bought it in 1940.
And they're never giving it up, and we're the ones paying the rent forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and their lineage, their family tree gets to gain all that network that person made in that time, so that puts them way ahead of everybody else, versus everybody else that has been making little over time will never get to that scale.
Yeah, that's, well, if you want to put it in another way, that's Trump.
Oh, well, yeah.
It's exactly.
Yeah.
It's inherited money.
Mm-hmm.
It's inherited power.
Mm-hmm.
This is perfect. This is what I was born to do. I was so happy to be doing probably headshots. I was like, this is why I was put on the earth, was to be a photographer. I just felt at peace with who I was. And yeah, I have no regrets about being a photographer. Zero. I wholeheartedly recommend it to anyone that wants to be it. It's going to be a lot easier for you that are trying it now than when I tried it. But it's a good profession. Don't be lazy.
Don't be lazy. Oh, I mean, doesn't that fall into like any profession?
Yeah, a bunch of slugs who would just sit there and go, close enough. Slap them.
You know, there's a saying, do something you love, never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, what you end up doing is you end up taking what you love and making it work, because it becomes fucking work. And even though we love photography, and we still love photography, it is work. It is a lot of fucking work. And, you know, I was romanticized when I was like 10, 12 years old and thought about it. And I just kind of pictured myself with a camera slung around my shoulder, just like swinging on my hip. And I'm just walking around and finding shots and taking a picture and making money and selling those pictures and shit. And that was in my head. That was kind of what it was. It was like, you know, you had this idea of the picture you wanted. You went out and you scouted it and you spent days and you got that shot. And then you went home and you sold that shot. You had like an agent, and, you know, at some point in time, that's the way it was for stock photography, but that's gone now. But yeah, it's totally not like that. You don't have a camera around your shoulder. You've got bags around your shoulder. You've got bags around your belt. You've got shit you're rolling. If you're fucking Matt, you've got 2 truck full of equipment, and you're rolling around. What was it? 2 or 3 dollies of. What was that?
A third of it or half of it he doesn't even use.
Yeah, but you still set it up.
Well, no, I make him set it up. Maybe I don't make you set it up, but him, I've known him longer. It's like, set it up just in case we might need it, and then knock it down.
We don't use it.
Yeah. Ending result is there's a lot more that goes into creating an image than, you know, I originally thought and I romanticized. One of the interesting things that comes out of that is that when you have a subject, and it may be a subject that you don't particularly have any feelings for, but by the end of the time that you're photographing that subject, whether how innocuous that subject may be, you end up having a little bit of affection or a little bit of love for that subject, because you spent some time
crafting that image. You want the end result to make yourself happy, right? You're the same as me.
One of the things that reminds me the most about that is when you were photographing tires in your studio, and you had built this
mud.
Yeah, you built this tray and filled it up with mud, and then put it under heat lamps for a few days to let the mud crack, so it looked like it was in the desert, and you put the tire on top of it. And I thought, that's fucking amazing. You're taking a picture of a tire. The most boring fucking subject you could think of. It's a black circle. It's a fucking donut that doesn't taste good. And you spent days creating that
I had to get special mud, and I had to research it. And
so in the end, you end up having some sort of affection or love for that tire.
Exactly. That's a very good point. It's like, we're like, yeah.
Photography started like that as well, though. I mean,
photography was not a real art. Photography was a science when it started, because it wasn't. It was
and
too
it demeaned, and they thought it would devalue the painter.
It was too technological.
Yeah.
I mean, they thought of that about writing back in the day too. Did you know that?
Well, in radio and television.
And
all of it.
Yeah. Even radio, when it went from radio to television wasn't real because it wasn't radio.
Mm-hmm.
And back in the day when, you know, kids were listening to radio stations and stories on the radio station, I mean, they were saying that shit's melting your brain, just like the fucking TV is melting your brain. Now video games are melting your brain. Now Discord and Snapchat's melting your brain.
So is it grumpy old man, or is it insight from knowing something that the new generation doesn't?
And some of the things that are coming through my mind, one, what business do I have being out in the middle of the desert all by myself, 500 yards away from my car in the pitch black with nothing but 2 beers in my pocket and my camera and a flashlight.
You know what? Because you're a photographer.
Yeah.
You're an idiot.
I'm an idiot. And 2, I hope this shot's worth it.
Yeah. Got to get the shot. Shot's more important than my life.
And 3, I'm thinking that, I walked way far away from my car than I should have.
Then there's the flip side if you want to be on the other side. Look how many great images you've seen of people that have a good eye but don't have the background and are taking it with either their EOS Rebel or their iPhone, and you're like, shit, that's a good shot. Should we diminish them because they didn't come up the way we did?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's a nice shot. So you try to be supportive of those guys as well. It's hard.
Well, I think it's Hulu that has a competition show, like all these competition shows like America's Top Model or American Idol, shit like that, where they have 5-6 different photographers coming together and they're competing
that'd
against
be
each other.
Interesting.
But they're all using Samsung phones.
Really?
Cell phones. Yeah. And, like LED lights.
Wow.
But pretty much.
Awesome shots.
Yeah, the shots look great. Most of the work is done in post, but there's a certain level that they have to do composition wise and lighting wise. I mean, they're having to create their own lighting.
Wow.
But it's I would love to see a show like that where they actually just gave them a studio full of equipment and said, here's your camera, there are your lights, do your thing. But these people are producing work that's pretty stellar in like 45 minutes.
I'm like, no, I got to make it look as good as I can make it look. And I wouldn't say I'm unique in that phase. I know Jim's got it. I'm sure you've got it, but it's not universal. I see a lot of work. I'll do this and my wife just doesn't get it at all. We'll be out and see a restaurant. I'm like, how could they leave that in and that in and that in and that in? She goes, my husband. I'm like, holy shit, they got paid for this. They're not even difficult retouches, but they won't take it out because it's work.
Or is it because the client just doesn't know better?
Both.
That's a lot of it. Yeah.
It's both. But the client doesn't know better because you haven't educated them. I would say some of my clients, not all of them, I wouldn't phrase it as they don't know better, but why do they keep calling me? It's because over the course of time, they're like, well, we've used other guys, but somehow it doesn't look the same as Matt's. It's like, yeah, because Matt's going the extra level. And I'm not trying to blow my horn, but I don't think my post-production skills are high, but I go the extra yard. I definitely go the extra yard over other guys. What does NFT stand for?
Oh,
I have no idea.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a new thing.
Yeah,
I mean, like
it's fairly within like some few months or something like that.
Well, stop it. All this new shit. I'm 60 years old. Just stop it.
I don't know how well this is going to take on because, there's a certain amount of value if you are a digital painter. So you're a digital painter, you're using the paint programs, you got your tablet and you're doing that kind of shit. So, you can actually create NFTs in a series. You can create number 1 of 100 and there's only 100 of them going around. So they have certain value because you've limited the supply. Can't be copied, can't be duplicated, that kind of a thing. But
so this is kind of like a digital original.
Yeah. So you'd be able to get a picture frame to go on your wall to display your NFT, and you can show it, put your little certificate or next to it or something.
I think I get it, but this is also the kind of thing that in a couple of years it's going to be obsolete because someone will come up with something new.
Yeah, exactly. I think September or something like that. And I told, typically you would not have your retainers like refundable, but when COVID started, I contacted all my clients, Told them for whatever reason, if you're not comfortable or if your venue's not open or whatever, just let me know. I'll refund your retainer. It's all good.
But
And
you
I
know,
don't care what
you're
the reason is.
unique in that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
That's not something most business people
Especially
would do.
not COVID.
Yeah.
That's not something most photographers would do. That's unique.
And I've sent out
special.
thousands of dollars. I don't suggest it to anybody.
No,
Yes.
but I think that will benefit long term because you get a
I think it's
reputation.
fair.
I've taken you up in a helicopter, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went with that one other guy that he was all open to just.
I've tried to take everybody.
Who's the guy he's talking about? Was all
I have
open?
no idea.
We were taking
What were we
where did you-
shooting?
we were shooting a pile of dirt in Long Beach.
All right,
That's
that fucking describes a lot of them.
That describes a lot of my shit. It's like, we
It's
got a
mostly
pile
starting out
of
with a
dirt.
pile of dirt.
Let's,
A big ass pile of dirt.
You'd
Pile
be
of
amazed
dirt.
at how many times you've gone up and photographed
pile of dirt. That's Matt. Matt's the pile of dirt photographer. We need to send Matt. Nobody else.
What
just
describe
Matt.
the pilot? Describe him. Can
He
you
was
remember?
a black gentleman. He
Could it be?
Could have been Robin.
Couldn't have been
yeah,
Robin.
I
Well,
think
could it?
so.
Was it Robin?
Yeah.
What were we photographing?
There's a pile of dirt next to the freaking Long Beach.
The airport?
No, the
Convention center?
No, the
Port?
The port. Yes, the port.
Okay, Hyundai. Robin.
and
How
next-
long ago was it?
Years ago.
Okay,
Years
could have been
ago.
Robin.
Could have been more. Robin.
Yeah.
Robin's
Because-
alleged. The point is, like any photography job, get the shot. If it's dirt, if it's girls, if it's CEOs, don't leave without accomplishing your job. And it's like, if that's the patch of dirt and you can't get it and they need to tip the helicopter over, tip the helicopter over.
Mm-hmm.
But that's, and I don't think you'll find that unique to me. I'm very confident that if you talk to 98% of photographers, they're cognizant about safety, they're cognizant about client issues, but in their core, the number one thing for photographers is get the shot. Weddings, portraits, headshots, architecture, dawn architecture, rocket launches, whatever, press conferences, get the shot. When Kobe Bryant's doing the shot, get the freaking shot. That's your job. That's why you're there. And I don't think that's unique to me or any photographer I know. If you talk to them and they're talking truly, it's like, what's the most important thing?
To get the shot.
Get the shot.
It's the only thing.
I don't want to bash on family, but one of the things key to life is either bending or how much you're willing to bend. How important things are to you that you're willing to bend.
With your family?
With all things, specifically for that story with my family, but with all things. How much
That goes back to your philosophy of
that
happiness.
Yeah, my basic philosophy. It's like most people, I believe, aren't willing to bend much.
Tolerance.
Yeah, I think most people aren't tolerant. Most people aren't willing to bend. Most people want what they want above all else. And how much are you willing to bend for others?
Yeah, right. I mean, this does that go the same for like marriage?
It goes for everything. It goes for business. It goes for marriage. It goes for relationships. It goes for society. How much are you willing to let someone cut in front of you without beating the crap out of them? It's just tolerance.
Think about 30 years ago. There was homeless people 30 years ago, right? Right? So like, did they think...
Actually, I was homeless 30 years ago. So.
Damn. I don't know how much of
I
that
didn't
is
live
a
too
joke.
far away from here. No, it's not a joke.
Really?
No, not... Yeah, totally.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Why?
Just no job and just didn't really give a shit.
You lived in the streets?
Well, I lived in my car. So Yeah.
Dang. How did you lose your house?
Exactly. I didn't have a house. I was like, at the time I was floating couches. What is it? Couch surfing?
Yes.
And just ran out of couches, ran out of space.
You were staying with friends.
Yeah.
And sleeping in their couches.
Yeah.
Eventually your friend said, "Hey,
got to get your shit
together.
Gotta
get your shit together."
Yeah. And there was nobody to blame but myself. But yeah.
And then you were like, "Okay, I'm just gonna sleep in my car for a couple of days."
Yep.
Figure things out.
And a couple of those friends that I borrowed couches from ended up with me. But yeah.
Oh, ended up
homeless
with you?
Yep. You know Tortilla Flats?
Tortilla Flats?
Yeah.
The restaurant.
No. It's it's an area in Gardena, not too far from here.
Then I don't know it.
Yeah. It's one of those neighborhood kind of like nicknames that they come up with, right? And North Gardena area. But yeah, I was sleeping in my car in like an alley that had there was a paint manufacturing place right there, and a bunch of tires in this dirt alley, and I park my car there and I sleep every night. Yeah. So for a while. But anyway, continue with what you were saying.
So, no. Now I want to know how the fuck you got out of that.
I can't name names, but I had a partner in 3 years after I was homeless, almost exactly 3 years after I was homeless. I had a partner, and he worked with me to create a false value of $1 million that I had $1 million worth. And together we purchased this pet store, and actually lost my ass on it. But it was a bad time to be in the pet store business, but so we falsified documents to create this value. We opened up a pet store in a very popular South Bay, Los Angeles based shopping mall. And I was running it on a day-to-day basis. And then we got out of that. And then this guy wanted me to go in on a property that was at the time still is at the time, but it's in Venice, and wanted me to help them purchase this building that they were going to convert to condos. And it was going to cost me like 70 grand. I didn't have 70 grand, but he had ways around it, and we were going to work it out. And I told him, I lost my ass in the pet store. I'm just not interested. Well, this guy turns out in this day, he is a multi-billionaire. He works with a lot of film studios in Hollywood, and he's quite famous in the area. And it's all due to his real estate development in his group that they call it. But yeah, I fucked up.
Fuck.
So
you could talk to almost everyone like him and me, and it's like, well,
almost
yeah,
anybody,
if I'd made a right turn here,
yeah,
I would have done.
I mean, I distinctly recall when I was like 23 knowing everything, so I've gotten dumber. But that's the thing. I mean, that's what comes with age, is that, you start out and it's all gung ho, and you're like, gonna change the fucking world, and this is how it is. And everybody's like that, and it should be like that. But then as you grow older, I mean, when they say you become wiser, you don't become wiser. You become more cognizant of how smart you really are. Yeah. I mean, you start to realize that I don't fucking know everything. I mean, we talk a lot of shit.
That's a key point, because one of the key things I learned, or I thought I learned when I was probably 32 or 33 as a photographer, is I was getting to the point where I was like, but I've been at this for 8 years or 10 years. I've got this. I know this photography. And then I hit a year where I was like, I fucking don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't even know how to light a portrait.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the illuminating, propelling moment for me further in my career, that I got to the point where I realized I didn't know anything.
Yep.
I really had to buckle down. And that's what you're saying. With age comes like, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah. And that's wisdom.
Yeah.
And that in itself, exactly, that's wisdom.
That's the difference, I think, between 35-year-olds and probably 25-year-olds.
I want to know more about your, what is going on with you, really?
Well, the heart condition's a minor point at this point, because of my wife, which is much more important in my daily life is caring for the wife. My heart condition, I would say this. In a sense, I would be more aware of your heart than I have been. I know people ever since I was young. My mom and health conscious people had said, "You got to watch what you eat," and I'm like, drop dead. I like carnitas. I like fast food. I like French fries. I like onion rings. I like everything that's bad for me. There's nothing I like that's steamed vegetables or raw vegetables or anything healthy. I don't like it. I like bad food. And so having a heart condition is not a unexpected thing or a thing that was done to me. It's pretty much self-inflicted. So in that sense, I can accept it. It's like, well, you skied off a cliff, you ran into a rock, that's what you get. It's that kind of thing.
What is it?
What is the what?
Yeah, I don't even understand that. Is it
it's
your heart is operating at a lower level than it should be at?
There's 3 different arteries that go into the heart. One of them, I guess, is critical, which I love how they phrase this. It's the widowmaker. Okay.
Oh my God.
So the widowmaker artery that goes to the heart, the one that's the most critical, is blocked.
And there's no other options? Just an evaluation? Is that all they could give you?
Basically, at this point, it's like a reevaluation and what do you want to do? A lot of medical things now, I think I've told you this, is like option A, option B, option C. What do you want to do? And it's like, well, you're the freaking doctor. But they don't want to be sued. And because my wife's situation is more serious than mine's serious enough, but hers is more serious. So
what is your wife's condition? Would you be willing to share that?
She has breast cancer, and at this point we haven't done all the tests, but it's not looking terrible. It's not looking great. It's in the medium. I would say if it was just breast cancer at this point, I'd be thrilled. If they found that it didn't spread to any other parts of her body and it was just breast cancer, I'd be thrilled, which is weird to say.
Hey, what do you think the reason why that's happening? Like, how does that even happen all of a sudden?
It's just life. Like I told you about that thing about why did this happen to me and it's just, you just don't expect it, right? You expect to drive home and not get in an accident. You expect it's just life. And so for people that are watching this far into the thing, I would say, and I've always felt this, but I'm not sure I've lived it. There are certain TED videos, but just beyond that, it's like, enjoy what you've got. Realize what you've got. I think a lot of people don't.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sure.
If you cut in line and you get ahead of me or whatever, or you cut in front of me and you get more money than me, I'm not okay with it, but I'm not willing to fight over it. And
yeah, even more than that, wouldn't say I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it happening. I just think that karma's going to catch up.
That's more exact of what I'm thinking. Yeah. I'm not.
It's like
it's not like I'm being spineless and I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, yeah, I'm using all my little vision of karma evil.
Yeah.
at that person. Yeah, no, I just
think there's a certain amount of psychosis that goes along with lines that people take that where they're trying to get any kind of advantage that they can. And I think that, you have a separation of like fucking,
I agree wholeheartedly.
You know what I mean? And
it's why I get along with you guys.
Yeah. And I think, if you can take a little bit and be okay with it and be like, all right, you got me this time.
Fuck you.
You're going to get your fucking shit. Yeah, fuck you.
But hey, I'm glad you guys came.
Yep.
This was awesome. Sorry it went so long. I hope
we got to cut that shit out. We need to figure out how to fucking talk faster.
Yeah, the 20-minute talk is good
format.
But yeah.
I cut it down to 20 minutes. I still
one
think
of them
that
you did was 2 hours. It's like
this is gonna be the longest one I've ever done.
No.
You said that last time. You said that last time. We killed that one, huh?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that
why? Why do you think we're the longest? You think
we're this episode?
You think we're that interesting?
No, we're not. That's a problem.
Thank you for watching, guys. Check out this episode soon.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, man.
All right.
I think we have pizza in the living room, but
all right.
Yeah. Let's. Did you want to sing?
I don't know. Should I?
Can you sing?
No.
Could you sing?
I bet you he could sing.
I will not.